Hey, Mr. X, would you like to do some solo dungeons?
Yeah, why not? Let me get my 4.1 gear real quick.
But why? Just get your tier 7 gear.
Well, we're going to a black zone. I don't really want to risk it.
Yeah, dude, but what if it's worth it?
Huh. You know what? Let's find that out. I bet that it probably isn't.
Well, a bet's a bet, buddy.
And thus began the feud of myself and my buddy NotRichtoffen. What do you think? Will it be worth it? Stick around until the end to find out. Before we start the video, however, I would like to ask you for one quick little favor. If you're not subscribed, please be sure to subscribe down below and press the notification bell for future uploads. And also follow myself and Mr. NotRichtoffen on Twitch using our respective Twitch links that you saw before. Thank you, and let's continue with the video. We're here with Richthofen.
Buongiorno.
Yeah, he's also streaming, but yeah, bro, we're gonna be having fun. The video idea is trying to see whether it's really worth it to go tier 7 in a tier 7 dungeon, or whether you should just take it easy and go with 4.1s in the black zones. And thus the video idea was born. We decided to start with 4.1s to sort of minimize the risk, but then we were going to go immediately to 7.0 after we were done with our 7 dungeons, because we decided on doing 7 dungeons for each of the sets. Not my idea, it was Richthofen's idea, but hey, it worked out in the end. And thus, in true Albion Online fashion, the dungeon itself was fine, but then right after, some people with a guild came to gank us. Richthofen managed to escape. I wasn't so lucky. I lost about 280,000 silver worth of loot, which to me is quite a lot. To some other people who have millions and millions of silver, it might not be enough. I didn't notice this because I was tabbed out, but it was just a funny part. I got pretty upset, but yeah. We moved on. Let us start with our tier 4.1 adventures. Now then, my gear cost 56,639. Richthofen's gear cost 57,894. Our average time clearing the dungeon was 12 minutes and 3 seconds, with my average loot being 42,564 silver, and his being 241,017, because he managed to get 1,262,000 silver worth of loot from one dungeon. It was insane luck. I congratulated him a lot for that. The only time I lost my gear is the first time that the group ganked us that you saw just before this, and Richthofen didn't manage to lose his gear, so that was a massive plus for him, and not so much of a minus for me because my gear didn't really cost that much. After each dungeon, we went back to the portal area to repair because we wanted to keep our armor in tip-top shape. I ended up paying 29,057 silver for these repairs, and Mr. Richthofen ended up paying 16,848. This doesn't seem like much, but take into account that every third or fourth dungeon, we would have to pay 10% of our gear in repair costs. So we were thinking, maybe the 7.0, while being riskier, was going to be way more efficient and way less costly in terms of repairs. But oh boy, were we wrong about the costly part. And this leads perfectly to the 7.0 section. Before we could even start the dungeons, we were approached by a group of what I suppose to be around 7 or 8 guys or girls or whatever. I'm pretty sure they were in a guild just looking for people to catch and gank. But yeah. We fought like 2 of them off, but you know, there's strength in numbers, so they decided to kill us both, and they went away with around 2.8 million silver worth of profit, so it was pretty good for them if none of our items trashed. But this ended up happening one more time right after the right after the 7 dungeons, so we were pretty unlucky, but it's whatever. We managed to have fun still. So then, the tier 7 gear. Mine cost 1,123,753 silver. Richthofen's gear costs 1,671,751 silver. The average time that we took to clear a dungeon was 8 minutes and 54 seconds, which is way lower than the tier 4.1. The average profit for Richthofen was 104,465 silver, and for me, it was 48,604. So my RNG wasn't as good as his, but it's alright. Since those 2 times that we have been ganked don't really count because they were at the very beginning and at the very end, we decided not to count them in our death counter. Therefore, I died 0 times and Mr. Richthofen also died 0 times. As for the repairs, because we wanted to keep our armor in tip-top shape once more, we actually paid, like, percentage-wise, way less. Mr. Richthofen paid 21,025 silver and I paid 13,664, which as I said, percentage-wise is way, way less than what it was percentage-wise on the 4.1 set. But what do these percentages actually look like? On the 4.1 side, Richtoffen's repair costs were 29.1% of his complete set, and my repair costs were 51.3% of my complete armor set's cost. But take it on to the 7.0 side. The total repairs for Richtoffen was 1.26% of his gear, and mine was 1.22% of my gear. So percentage-wise, it's actually way better to go with 7.0 gear in terms of repair costs. As a little side note, I should also add that the profits that we took from the dungeons did not add up to anywhere near the 7.0 gear's cost. Taking time into account, on average, the time it took for us to clear a dungeon in our 7.0 gear was 26.14% faster than the time it took with the 4.1 gear. But hey, don't listen to only my opinion. Here's an excerpt of a little talk I did with Richtoffen. So, looking back at the dungeons, what do you think about them, and what do you think about the efficiency? I think that 4.1s, while extremely slow, are still better, because we lost quite a bit on the tier 7s, didn't we?
Yeah, but we cannot take the RNG loot in count as well. The 4.1, it was a lot slower.
That is true.
Let's be real.
That is
It was
true.
a lot slower. If you like want to do 10 or more dungeons with your friends, it's gonna take you at least an hour more. The tier 7 gear was fantastic. We had such a blast running through them all.
Yeah, man.
But then again, the risk, I don't feel it is appropriate to do everything in tier 7 gear.
So basically, if you just want to get something done quickly, like do a couple dungeons, you would rather go with tier 7 gear instead of the 4.1 just to get it out of the way?
Yes, but then again, the times that we died, they were not natural because something happened and a lot of guilds were out to gank everybody and they killed everybody.
True, that was all based on just sheer luck.
Yeah, that doesn't happen every day. If we knew that, oh, on Sundays this guild will do that, on Mondays this and this guild does that, I would go 7 tier gear all the way every time. I wouldn't go in those maps on Sundays and Mondays.
Okay, that's fair enough.
What you can do is, for example, go invisible, check out the map. If it's 50-50 empty and you don't see a large groups of guilds running around and hunting people, fuck it, go 7 tier.
Okay. So then overall, what's your conclusion? Because I kind of already stated mine, saying that 4.1 I think is going to be better overall. But what's your conclusion? I wanna hear that too.
If you want fame, if you want the dungeon be done really fast, and the loot doesn't change anything, I'd go 7 tier. If you are in a tough spot with silver and you don't mind the extra time you spend in the dungeon because it's gonna be slower, especially if you're alone, then go 4.1.
Okay, that seems like a fair conclusion. All right, thank you. So there you have it. Our questions on whether or not it is worth it to use tier 7 gear in a black zone answered. You have both sides of the argument. Mine is that it's not worth it. Richtoffen's is that it is worth it. That's pretty much the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me and Richtoffen on twitch.tv/Richtoffen and twitch.tv/Xpeigh. But yeah, thank you guys for watching today's video. Like the video if you liked it. Leave a dislike if you didn't for some odd reason. And I hope I answered some of your questions as well regarding the dungeons in the black zones. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.